Hey, this is Mrs.R and you're watching You Go Learn, and we're gonna talk about what happened this weekend at the inauguration. As you can see, I'm wearing black. Why? Because I'm in mourning. Because the left got killed this weekend. Now, I want to hand it to the Republicans because they deserve credit for their planning. They were good. Okay. And, game recognized game. But it's really the left who hung themselves this weekend, and I think that's really important to note, that all Donald Trump had to do was stand there and let you guys show up and ruin things for yourselves. Now, last week, I said that if nothing stupid happened and no one innocent got hurt as a result of the actions of terrorists, like #J20, okay, they meet the technical definition of terrorists, you guys. You're lucky Veritas caught them before they got there, okay? I said that if no innocent person got hurt as a result of those tactics, that I would go back to keeping my mouth shut. And as you can see, I'm allowed to talk again. Yeah. Why is that? Well, you see, you literally injured a bunch of people with the violence that happened, and that was bad enough. And I don't know why you guys thought you could do that and not get arrested and not charged with felonies under a Republican administration, but look, there were so many levels of, delusional planning in this that you guys thought you could just violently protest and that would just be, fine for you. And here's the thing. The march, it's great that you guys got all those people out there, although could you maybe have included the unions and the transportation workers and all those sorts of things so that you could have gotten the parking at least right and not have inconvenienced working class people on their way to work? Or is that asking too much in the planning things? Because they're already talking about it. And the other thing that they're talking about is the fact that what was the purpose? What was the purpose? Was the goal this weekend really to be haha, we stopped people from going to his party, we had more people at ours? That's your response to someone you call a fascist? Do you know what that word means? I don't think you guys know what that word means, and I would tell you, but now I want you to look it up, okay? Because if I tell you, it'll go in one ear and out the other, and the only way you're going to learn is if you go read for yourselves, okay? Learn what it means. That was ridiculous. And there was so much footage of violence that anything great that happened the day after, which by the way was organized by an extremely diverse coalition of grassroots organizers across the country that were representing all kinds of groups of people, all their work was buried by what the rich kids did the day before. How do I know they're rich kids? Well, first of all, they out themselves on Facebook a lot, and they keep saying things like #resistance. I don't know why they do that. But also because no one else with a real job goes out and violently protests because they have responsibilities, okay? Everyone else was busy. This is still America. You can't just violently protest. That's ridiculous. There is no state on the planet, by the way, that would have allowed you guys to get away with that. It's fucking absurd. Honestly. Obama spoiled the shit out of you. It's upsetting. But on top of that, Trump had his men, okay, in the crowds, where you guys were engaged in violence, you were beating them up, you're sucker punching Richard Spencer, or was that you, or was that one of Trump's men as a plant making you look bad? We don't know, but we do know that you thought it was real funny afterwards, and you made a neo-Nazi, a self-avowed member of the alt-right, look like a nice guy taking a hit from a bunch of douchebags. Okay, that's what you did. That's all we accomplished from that. And I'm sure it was really fun, because sucker punching people is fun. But now, he's using that as an excuse to call for an alt-right vigilante group. So you've just fucked over every member of an identifiably marginalized community, which makes you traitors. Traitors. Okay? Yeah. I don't trust you further than I can throw you, and I don't think you're part of the movement, and you are not welcome anymore. Okay? And any leftist that fails to disavow and repudiate you deserves exactly what's coming to them. Because you buried us under mountains of footage without concern. And I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you. And you silenced me, and you ignored me. Okay? I told you this was going to happen, and you silenced me, and you ignored me. But you expect me to somehow defend your bullshit in public. I'm not defending you, okay? You put millions of children's lives at risk. And I'll be real honest with you. There is no cause on this planet that I think is worth harming innocent children. And I would gladly trade each and every single one of you right over to Trump for a single child. Any organizer who feels differently than that is not worth leading, in my opinion. Okay? Now, the people can decide who their leaders are going to be. You seem to think that you're entitled to just getting our support, but you're quite wrong. Okay? You're quite wrong. You see, you guys have been cheering on my people's death, talking about how funny it is that poor whites are going to die under Trump because they haven't been dying under you, fucks. Okay? Making fun of my people, calling us hicks. You guys have been doing this for years, and you've been trying to silence me, and every time I try to talk about class, there has been a concerted effort to stop me. Okay? Well, the conservatives aren't playing that game, sweethearts. They're talking about class. And they've already reached out to me. After the way you guys have treated me, if I were even slightly less incorruptible, I would have already switched sides. And I don't have a good explanation to other working class people as to why they should stick to your guys' side. I certainly don't have one to the white working class. And by the way, that's your bullshit. That's your construction. I don't see myself as separate from the rest of the working class, and I have told you guys that over and over again. You have separated my people out. I do not see myself as separate from my black brothers and sisters that I grew up in. I do not see myself as separate from the Mexicans in my family, okay? You created that. And why did you create that? Is it because the idea of a unified working class is more threatening to the Democratic Party than Donald fucking Trump was? Because I think that's what happened. Based on your behavior. Now, you think there are no consequences for this. Because you think that the conservatives have just been sitting by, not planning, not learning anything from past elections, not attempting to reach out to the groups that you guys have excluded. And you're wrong. And they have done it so successfully, and it is only going to get worse. If you guys do not start talking to the common people and the working class, and by the way, half this country makes less than $30,000 a year. We're your majority. And without us, you don't have one. So you better start catering to us. Because the conservatives aren't waiting to do that. The conservatives are not waiting to cater to the communities that you've excluded. And you know what the most frustrating thing about this, all of this to me is is that none of this has to do with strategy. Like, I want it to be a big conspiracy that you guys are all engaged in, but I know you as people, and there's no way you could pull it off, okay? Like, there's just no way. You guys can't even recognize a Trump plant when it's right in front of you, and you still attacked him, okay? You guys can't plan a proper protest without transportation issues. So, like, you need to get your shit together. Because the conservatives, they aren't sitting around arguing over who's more radical and who's fucking the coolest person on whatever your guys' bullshit fucking status symbols are. You guys think a protest is a fucking rock concert, okay? You think it's Coachella. This isn't Coachella anymore. This isn't about you. And if you can't come to serve, you are not welcome anymore. You are here to serve. And not just the people who agree with you, but all of the people, okay? Here's how delusional you guys are. I'm still seeing you post stuff about how you don't know any Donald Trump supporters. They're lying to you. And they're lying to you because you've dehumanized them so much that they just decided to lie to you rather than divulge that information because they don't think you guys are capable of rational thought anymore. So they just don't tell you. And yet you're still under the delusion that, like, people just didn't vote for him. Look, he won, and it wasn't an accounting error. You guys failed to get turnout. Okay? And I say these things to you, and I say them out loud. And what do? You sent out the cavalry against me last week, didn't you? Yes, you did. Yeah, I had a bunch of you telling me about your feelings and how I was doing was bad for the group, right? Why? Why is the message that there is one unified working class of people that wants to work together for their own common good so threatening to you? You've never been able to provide me with an answer. And here's another thing you've never been able to provide me for an answer to either. I don't know why I have to care about your fucking feelings, okay? You don't care about mine. And I know this because not only do you guys never fucking ask, but because you joke about how funny it would be if my people died. Okay? That's how I know you don't care about my feelings. You say horrible stuff to me in public. How am I supposed to know the difference between you and Republicans when just in the last couple weeks you've attempted to silence me, okay? You've stopped discussions of class. You have acted horrifically bigoted towards me and continue to say horrible things about my friends and family. You have accused me of being racist when I was stopping race riots at 14 and I put together a unified working class group at Stanford that represented everybody on campus. Nobody believes you when you make that accusation. Okay? Nobody believes you because my record speaks for itself. And I challenge you to look it up and find evidence to back your claims. Because you have none. And it's so funny now to watch you guys talk about facts. Oh, we want Donald Trump to pay attention to facts. When are you going to pay attention to facts? When are you going to pay attention to empiricism? When are you going to put the needs of the people and what's happening on the ground ahead of whatever your theoretical college bullshit is? You guys were under the delusion that you could somehow stop Trump from being president in like a month and a half by making sure that people couldn't go to his party, okay? Guess what? He's still president. And people love him now. And you would know that if you broke out of your echo chamber. You would know that if you stepped outside your bullshit and actually started talking to the communities around you. But you don't do that. Why? Not for any strategic reason, of course, but because it makes you feel bad that someone disagrees with you. Okay, I don't know what happened in your guys' upbringing, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret about adulthood. No one cares about your feelings. No one cares. I don't care. None of the working class cares. The vets don't care, okay? We don't care. That's not a relevant argumentation point to us. Tell us what you are going to give us. I want to know what specific policy programs your side is offering to me. Because guess what? The conservatives have already offered me a platform. And it's only been a few weeks. So you need to get your shit together. And let me tell you guys something else. You're like so proud of that sucker punch. How are people supposed to know the difference between who the fascist is when you guys are doing the hitting, when you guys are doing the cheering on of people's death, when you guys are doing the violence? Who's the fascist when you're doing the purges? Who's the fascist when you are silencing the people? If you want people to think he's a fascist, then you better become saints. And I don't want to hear any shit about how that's not fair and whatever. Grow up. Grow up. Okay? Life's not fucking fair. It's not fucking fair. Okay? It is not fair that I grew up in extreme poverty and was horrifically abused for years, only to have the left completely silence me and lock me out. That was not fair, okay? Clinton's welfare reform wasn't fair to me. The drug wars, they weren't fair to us. This isn't about fairness. You're not kindergartners, and we don't have to give in to your tantrums. You have free speech, and we have the right to ignore you. And until you start speaking to the people, that is increasingly what people are going to do. So if you have any hope of putting any sort of defense up in 2020, you need to make the working classes, and I mean the entire working classes, don't leave nobody out, okay? We're a diverse group. If you don't know that, if it's a surprise to you that my whiteness and poverty coincides, you shouldn't be leading, okay? Because you don't know enough about the people to lead them. All working class people. Make them the center of your movement again. We used to be. Back when we won things, okay? Back when we won things, the working class was the center. And hand them leadership positions. Hand them leadership positions. And not only that, but hand them the fucking microphone. Hand them the microphone and support them. Stop purging them. I am so sick of people I know who are civil rights leaders, who have put in decades of work that you can't even begin to imagine, who have saved countless lives, being called sellouts and coons by a bunch of 22-year-old nobodies who ain't done shit for anybody. Stop immediately, or you will lose your grassroots. You will lose your working class. I cannot save you from that outcome if you don't get your fucking shit together.